Peace. Yeah, man. Feeling a bit bored, so I thought I'd have a little quick chit chat. Just some general observations from around the world and stuff. So the first thing, I watched that Lord Jamar fiasco with that scientist Dave dude, where Lord Jamar was defending this flat earth theory that seems to be knocking about nowadays. I thought we knocked that on the head with like the introduction of the actual mathematics of the globe introduced into Europe by the Moors in the Middle Ages. I thought that was dealt with a long time ago. Even the ancient Greeks, the ancient Europeans that modern day Europe always goes back to as their shining light in antiquity, you know, for the conception of the European mind. Even they back then knew that the globe was, well, it was a globe, basically, through their scientific observations. So it's like, why are people still falling for this? So it was obvious to see with Lord Jamar that he doesn't have a concept of basic words, never mind scientific know-how of anything. When he was being pressed by this Dave, who does science for a living, and then obviously it got out of hand. Lord Jamar was being really disrespectful, profanity, cussing the guy down, whatever have you, because he was losing the battle, going over to Godfrey, and it's like, cut the show. And then he was like, it's either him or me, I'm going to walk out, blah, 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 blah. There's been like loads of videos about it over YouTube and stuff. So long story short, I was like, okay, you got absolutely murdered with science. Let me see now how he deals with it. Has he gone back? Has he gone to study? Has he gone to you know, try and grasp the concepts of like gravity and so on and so forth? And I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see what he says. So he does, he's got his own podcast channel. We went on there and he brought these two other flat earth geezers on, and he just basically doubled down. And I was like, what? That confrontation just made you more stubborn. You can't talk to people like that. You're flogging a dead horse. People who refuse to grow. You know, there's nothing you can do with them. So just leave them. Just leave them. All you can do is drop your little jewels from time to time when you speak, because you know you're speaking to a brick wall. You know, so, you know, just leave it alone. Hopefully they might pick up that seed. They might water it one day, who knows? But yeah, Lord Jamar, man, once again, I've got to say, very dismayed with him for saying that he is a brother that was supposed to study the 5% lessons. Okay? In the 5% lessons, you're given the measurements of the earth. And it's not flat measurements either. It's not flat measurements, man. You're given a circumference of the equator, and all through the lessons, why we write history in accordance with the measurement of the equator. 24,896 miles, roughly 25,000, you know. But we write history in 25,000 year cycles. And then a new God comes in, and the old wisdom is wiped away, and then a new wisdom is brought into play. He knows all of this, supposedly, because he's a 5%er. So I don't know what happened with the flat earth. I would have supposed that he studied a little bit of Moorish history as well. You know, how we had like that Moorish empire all the way across North Africa, Mediterranean, Sicily, sometimes some parts of France, but mostly we stayed in Spain. That's why you have Andalusia, coming from Al-Andalus, Arabic words. There's loads of Arabic words, towns that's been like, you know, Latinized and whatnot because of how long we were there, you know. Surprise, surprise, that's not taught in schools about the Moorish Empire. I remember when I was at school, I was like, what happened before 1066? Before William the Conqueror? You know, what was cracking off? And it's like, oh, we don't know too much. We know a little bit about Edward the Confessor before that, and, you know, Harold had a right to the English throne, and he was related somehow with William, who was like a Norman, but at that time, England was ruled for a few centuries by Vikings. So the Normans are Vikings, basically. I don't think many people know that either. Normans were basically the Vikings that went into France that was bothering up the French until the French king was like, you know what, I've had enough of this, man. What happens if I break a little piece off in the northwest? You chill out over there. I'll give you some land. Leave me the hell alone. You know what I mean? You know, and maybe we can come to some deal. You can help me in some fights that I have. Blah, 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 blah. Hence Normandy. The Vikings, dude. You know, obviously took on some of the French culture and stuff. So yeah, Vikings, and then obviously you got your Vikings in England. The royal families are all you know, loosely related. Blah blah blah. This is why William's like, you know what? That's part of my kingdom. I'm gonna go for it. You know, Howard's like, nah. And then you got that other Harold. I don't think it was Harold Bluetooth. I forgot his name. I forgot his nickname. But the other Harold, that studied military strategy in Constantinople, because I think he was like a mercenary over there. So he's bringing all that know-how back to take back his Norway and then lay claim to England, you know, because there's this Viking connection that England had. So they're all fighting. So I don't need to go into that history. Everyone should know that, England, because we all got taught that as kids. Harold going up, defeating the other Harold, having to walk all the way back down from near Newcastle or wherever it was, over the countryside and whatnot, all the way back down into Hastings, then having to battle my man within a week, William. And then apparently Harold still had the upper hand for a long time in that battle, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, events turned out and then William won, and then, you know, that's history. But yeah, I mean, the Dark Ages, and before that, we don't know, it's all a bit sketchy after the Romans left in the 4th century and stuff and all of that. No, it's not. It's just because you didn't want to teach what the hell was going on out of England, that's all. You didn't want to tell us what the crack was. Mate, when I tell you there's volumes on it. Volumes. You know what I mean? All this so-called Dark Ages, all that's chronicled as well. There's tons of books on it. I had to get all of this once I left school. You know what I mean? You've got to teach yourself. We're indoctrinated in school. We get taught what the powers that be want us to know, so we can fall into society and be good factory workers for the rest of our lives, or whatever they want us to do. They don't want us to think too much. It's too dangerous for the status quo. You know, I'll prescribe the diameter of your learning, and in that way, I know your circumference of movement. Job done. Just like them Tom and Jerry cartoons, where my man, Tom, the cat, is winding up that bulldog. And then that bulldog starts to chase him out of his pens, like, and he's running and running, and all of a sudden it's like, and the chain's like got to its length and it's choking him back. So Tom turns around and is like, that's how far you can go. So he draws the line. So every time he goes near me, he winds him up, runs towards the line, and then stops just out the line, and then my man can't get him. Same thing. I went on a bit of a rant there. But yeah, I don't like the way we played with, to be quite honest with you. But there you go. But yeah, Lord Jamar, man, I mean, you've got to consistently study. Some people say, what's the point? What's the point? Just come home, live your life, watch TV, or whatever you do after work, and go to bed. You know what I mean? Next day, go to work, have a drink, get yourself all drunk, watch TV, go to bed, blah, blah. I think that's a waste of life. We weren't put on this earth for that. It's mindless zombies. Nah, it doesn't sit right with me. So yeah, so-called enlightened, should I say, 5%er who's supposed to be a contingent of 5% of the population of the planet. You know, meaning that you know more than the 85% of the planet. So you're supposed to be spiritually doing battle with the 10% that know what you know, but use it as a weapon of the 85% of the masses to keep them dumbed down in mental death and power for them, enslaved. And you're talking about a flat earth. You're the 85% then. You don't understand them lessons, mate. You might have memorised them, if you did memorise them. You don't understand them, obviously. What happened to the basic geometry? That's gone way out of the window, you know? So that was a wake-up call to me. You've got to consistently study. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you will know it all. Because when you come up against someone who actually knows something, you're going to fall short and fall flat on your face. You know, that's why I really wanted to see his comeback in his podcast, to see how he dealt with it. Waiting to see if it humbled him, but it made it worse. So, you know, it's a good lesson watching him, how he reacted, how he came back, you know, just observing, just watching. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, you got to constantly study, man. Even if it's just a little bit a day, pick up a book. Anything, read. Just constantly read. Open up your world. Even if it's just a fantasy book. You know what I mean? Just go into the realms of fantasy. You know? Someone else's mythology. And read. You'll catch something from that. You know? Well, open your mind, man. If I'm reading fiction, I like to read historical fiction. Because the authors, they put a lot of historical fact mixed in to the storyline with the characters. So sometimes you get a better understanding of how people fought and dealt with their surroundings and whatnot in a particular century. I love it. It fascinates the hell out of me. 'Cause I didn't used to read fictional books and all that. I thought, I'm wasting my time. I like factual books. I want to know about stuff. But, you know, I forced myself to read, and it kind of brought back the light of childhood to me, where my mind was like going into the realms of fantasy and stuff, and It's quite liberating, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? It's like the pressure's taken off you. You know, you don't need to be serious all the time. Sometimes just enjoy yourself. But I do like I said, if I'm going to like go into the realms of fantasy, I like a little bit of mathematics put in there too. So I'm not completely, you know, wasting my time, should I say. But like I say, everyone to their own, innit? But yeah, stubbornness, man, it doesn't get you anywhere. It really doesn't. Makes you look stupid. That's why sometimes I can't be bothered to talk to some people. Some people, when you look at it, from when they leave school and they get older, you know, obviously you're going to get some life experience because obviously you've lived. But other than that, they're still looking at the world as a 16-year-old. Because their intellectual capacity hasn't been expanded. Because they've stopped learning. That's even if they did read books at school anyway. So you're basically speaking to these children trapped in middle-aged bodies. The joke, some man still want to be a bad man in your 50s. Like when mans used to flex as teenagers, like, yeah, I'm tough, man. I can deal with mine, man. You know what I mean? My man can't test me. And, you know, when we used to like stand out shops in a crew and, you know, look all hard and tough and blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of years afterwards, you think to yourself, that's dumb. You know what I mean? I need to grow up, you know, move away from all of that. That's kiddie mindset. But some people haven't moved from it, man. That's frightening. It's frightening. You go up to some people, it's like some people from your youth, what you used to know. And it's like, oh, you're right, man. How's it going on that? And they're looking at you like this. The same way they used to look when they were kids. A teenager to me is a kid, 18, 19, even early 20s. You're a kid. To me, as far as I'm concerned, and some man that they haven't let it go. I remember when I finished work one time. I used to be a delivery driver. I used to work with this dude. And I didn't really know his older brother. But I spoke to his older brother a couple of times. You know, so I knew who he was and he knew who I was. You know. There's a little mutual respect there type thing. I remember one day, man's driving me home in the van. He's pulled up, spotted his brother in town. And he's chatting to his brother. He's like, yeah, man, yeah, how's it going? And blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And I like look across the scene. I'm like, yeah, man, how's it going? You cool? How's things and all that? Mine was like, putting on that dumb bad man look that man used to do as kids, trying to intimidate man, says like as if to say like, yeah, I'm a bad man, man. You know, got to give me the respect. I'm a gangster and all this. And I'm like, think to myself, mate, let it go. Let it go. Oh man. Seriously, there's some man boys out there, man. Or boy men. Whichever way you want to put it. Some mans have still got that little child mindset, man. Let it go, G. For real, let it go. Come on. Look. The beard's white. We're getting on now. Some of us are grandparents. Let it go, man. Read, pick up a book, expand your mind. Take the pressure off yourself. You know, no one's looking out for that anymore. That was done in the teenage years. Come on, man. Oh, some people give me jokes. Simple people give me jokes. Yeah, so what? Sure, boy, chatting for 20 minutes. Yeah, so this is totally off topic. Right? Another thing, for people out there, I'm talking to the mans them now. Mans of all creed, culture, and whatever you, right? Because of my nature of work, I have to use public restrooms, right? Which I don't like using, because you all know public restrooms, man. They're never kept nice or right or whatever. But sometimes when you call it short, you got to go. Nature calls, you got to go, right? I'd say over 50% of people don't wash their hands when they're going into public restrooms. They don't wash their hands. Brethrens, wash your hands. Come on. We're not kids. Wash your hands, mate. You've been holding up your private parts. Got urine all over your hands and germs and what have you. And then you're holding up the door, and I'm having to hold the door to get out. But you've just held up and wiped up all your germs and urine all over. Wash your hands. Mate, you'll be surprised at how many people have a number 2 in the toilet. So they're wiping themselves up. Probably the toilet tissue's breaking. They're getting feces all over their hands or whatever. And they're walking out without washing their hands. This is another reason why there's so many bloody diseases going around the place. People aren't doing simple hygiene and washing your hands. Come on, man. What a dirty sintin. Wash on yourself. Boy, that's basics. Come on. No. Not after number 2 and your hands are all rah. And you're not washing yourself and you're not washing your hands. And you're holding up the door and... Wash your hands, mate. This is the 21st century. We're in 2025. Mans aren't washing their hands like children. They're not washing their hands like you're rushing to go out and play with your mates. You ain't going nowhere. You got nowhere in particular to go to. You're just going back to work or whatever. Wash your hands, G. Nasty pieces of work. Wash your hands. I'm known some mans across the board. Manual workers, people just dressed in the normal clothes, man's in suit and tie, like businessman, and they're not washing their hands. Wash your hands. There's soap and water there. Wash your hands. Dry hands and come out. Sorry about that rant, but I had to say it. Wash your hands. No doubt I'll say it again, because this is daily. I'm noticing people, and it's not just in one place. I've been all over the country. People just come in, do the thing, come out. They don't wash their hands. So this is a nationwide epidemic. Nationwide. Wash your hands, man. Chill. But yeah, I've spoken enough. Little observations of the day. You know. But yeah, okay. Little chat over. Hope everyone has a nice and productive day. Whatnot. Everybody stays safe. You know. Go back to your home to your loved ones and whatever you. You know what I mean? And just live good. Life's too short, man. For real. But yeah, alright, I'm out. Peace.